Nice to meet you, sir.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Yeah, thank you, Denu. See, let's start. Let's start. Tell my audience who you are and what you do.
Okay. My name is Denu Bon. However, my birth name is Oluwaferanmidenu Ogunbona.
Okay.
And I am the founder of GoLoko Diaries and Denu's Cycle Limited that operates in a community format as Denu's Money Cycle.
Okay.
GoLoko Diaries is a media and publishing company, whereas Denu's Money Cycle is a financial organization.
Yeah, then we'll get to those. See, what I want right now, I want my audience to know who Denu is. Okay. So let's focus on you. Okay. So that my audience will know who you are. See, like you just told me today, you are a recent graduate. So that's that's interesting. So tell my audience that.
Okay, beautiful. So I had a background in architecture. I graduated last year, January 2022, and currently I'm actually serving the nation, the National Youth Service Corps, and I'm working with the Lagos State Ministry of Works and Infrastructure in the architecture department. And today, 28th of July, was my general community development service. I am under the special CDS that, and we do financial inclusion, under financial inclusion. As a person, I'm just one that is on a journey. I'm on a journey, and then I'm practically taking others along with me. Okay. That's like, so me, I'm the firstborn of 4. I have 3 sisters. My dad and mom, they're doing fine. They're both Yoruba from Ogun State. Then I'm currently in Lagos, definitely, because I'm currently in Lagos, and practically that's
so tell me, what school did you go to?
I went to Banye University.
Okay. Interesting. So how come? I mean, you have 2 companies. You had. Tell us a little bit about those companies. But I also want to know how come at your young age you are on this journey.
Okay. So everything started with an existential crisis that happened when I was in 300 level in architecture. Actually, we call it architecture because it was more like a torture. That's just on a light note, but really it was a hard drill on us. However, I chose architecture. I wanted to do architecture, right? And when I got in, I was just going after first class. I eventually graduated with the second class over, by the way. So I'm still like a good, bright student. Thank you so much for that. And in my 300 levels, I had an existential crisis that had me thinking, because I kind of found out that I had this zeal for writing since I was 8 years old. That was as far as I could remember, because at 8 years old, practically, one of the keynotes for me was that I walked up to my mom with about 2 written manuscripts in my hands, and I was like, Mom, I want to become a published author. And she was like, she was going to introduce me to a friend of ours that studied English when she was in school, that currently works with a publishing firm. And well, about that particular matter, probably we'll be having the discussion maybe tomorrow. So that's just like a joke. But I know the person, by the way. I know the person like personally too, but we necessarily did not push to have this discussion. And then later, I got to understand that it is as a result of the cost that comes with publishing a book. As a then, my parents didn't have the financial capital to fund that particular dream of mine. So I was like, it was just like a dream that was occurring every single year. When I was 9, or I will publish my book this year when I was 10, 11, 12, 13. At 18, I found out about Amazon publishing. And that was when it started. That was when it was also when I was 18, 17, 18, and 19, 20. Practically those years from 17, late 17 into 20 was when I was in existential crisis, and I was just like having all of these things going on in my head, trying to find my path, trying to understand the purpose of myself and God. So, however, when I was 18, when I clocked 18, going into 18, it was really, really strong. It really affected my academics. In my 300 level, that was the first time I was having a D in my academics. And I had it in a major course. Architecture, we always do design presentations every single semester. So I had it in that course. So it really sapped my GPA. I went from a 4 points to practically under 4, like about 3.98, and continued like until I was back in, I think, 500 level before it started going back up again. And it didn't really do any much. It just stayed at 2.78 because I mean the cumulative.
Yeah.
So I had that D, and then when I was realizing that I was going to have that particular D in that particular course, because this particular course is something that if you failed it, it was an extra year. So as I was preparing to get my results, I was already thinking I was going to fail. So I cried practically after my jury. I cried overnight. My sister was comforting me. My friends were comforting me. I had cried overnight. So eventually when I saw the result and I saw it was a D, it was not that I didn't have the strength to cry again. So I was just like laughing. You get, but I already like was launched into a phase of my life where it was as if my academics were challenged, and they were challenged to like, I don't think I'm going to do this thing with my life. I don't think I'll be doing this in my life. So, and then I was now, as a then I'd already published a book on Amazon, and then I was working on another book. So it was like, I think I'll be going into writing more and the likes of it. Then I started seeing some movies. Also, as at that time, it was an all-round existential crisis because I was also dealing with my faith, the faith I was brought up to believe in. So I was having those questions. And as at that time, I was now going out of my denominational restriction into other cycles. And I was seeing the reality of life from not just the perspective and the lenses of the people that raised me. So it was just a lot for me because I was a teenager in 400 level, 300 level, 400 level, and I was trying to like figure all of these things out in my head. And eventually I saw some movies, that encouraged me. I was into poetry. I was writing dark poems. I was writing a lot of poems that were also like stoic, trying to get myself, they were really, really deep. And it was about that time too that because I'll do a little of God today, then I'll draw back. It was about that time also that I got myself the name Denu Vour Bon. Like I prayed, and then I out of that prayer like encounter, I was just like, okay, I think I saw a pseudonym somewhere, and then I just decided that, okay, instead of Oluwaferanmidenu Favour Ogunbona, that is my birthday, let me just have Denu from Oluwaferanmidenu, Vour from Favour, then Ogunbona, born from that. So
interesting.
And then I started using it. So now I'm trying to like establish how GoLoko Diaries came about. So eventually, all along through this process, I eventually got to the point where I now saw this movie, and that is why till date I still want to like learn Spanish. I want to learn Spanish. Then Spanish, Espanol. Like I even wrote poems that poco a loco me vlevo un poco más loco. Little by little, every day I go a little more crazy.
Interesting.
Exactly. So I saw this movie, Coco, is an Academy Award movie, is an animatic, and it practically was talking about a guy that was raised up to believe music was like a taboo in their family. And his name was Miguel, and he wanted to do music. That was what he wanted to do. So, and then the whole story went round and round, and then the grandmother was Coco, and eventually it happened that his great grandfather was actually a musician.
Okay.
Exactly. So it just went round and round, and actually I got so I felt myself in that movie, and for one reason I just feel like poco a loco and poco a poco, that is little by little, then also loco, just be loco, like just go crazy, like break out of the norms that you were maybe born with without necessarily doing things that are wrong.
Okay.
That kind of a thing. So that is where the word loco in GoLoko came from. And it means go crazy. Go crazy. You have a dream, an idea you believe in. It is not going to kill anybody. Go crazy. And crazy there doesn't mean you should be mad or run mad. It practically means you should step out of the box and let them call you that guy. What is running through your head? But you know what you're doing. So, and then diaries has been a thing that I'd always wanted to have a diary. And along the line, I eventually got myself one. And so, and then I wrote the book I actually published in 2019 then, was a book that talked about how to keep a diary.
Yeah.
And so
it's on Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. Yeah.
Okay.
Diary 101, Diary 101.
Okay.
Diary 101. It was a being on the earth surface too. That is like the full title, Diary 101 by Denu Vour Bon. You will see it on Amazon.
Okay.
So I now put out this. I was able to understand that the word diary actually means I'm doing something every day. It could be a verb.
Yeah.
That is, I'm doing something every single day. I'm writing I'm writing details of every single day.
Yeah.
So I was not like, go crazy every single day, practically. Beautiful. GoLoko Diaries. So
interesting.
And the initial reason I started it, number one, to solve the issue of a lot of people want to get published, but they cannot get published, and that is why we have a little book publishing thing going on in GoLoko Diaries. So practically, but the main idea is that I wanted people to feel that whatever dream I have, I can get it from a point A to a point B, stepping out of the norm. And that is why in GoLoko Diaries, our vision is taking your success on a journey. Like, instead of waiting for the laws that people have set, that society has set to work on you, you just step out yourself and take that success. Like, you grab hold of success. It's not more a destination. It's something you seize hold of, and then you are taking it on a journey yourself.
Interesting.
So, and that is like the crazy part of it. So, and to do this, to get this done, I understand that there's the part of mentorship, there's a part of some people that have done it, because we have trailblazers, we have witnesses in this world, people, executives, industry leaders, politicians, massive people, thought leaders that have just like done crazy things out of this world that people look up to, that, and across all sectors actually.
Yeah.
And we actually could learn from what they did, because, and it's not necessarily like, not just because we needed a blueprint, but we just wanted to get a scope, a perspective of their experience, so that we can be able to relate to it. For example, someone succeeded in the politics, in the industry of economics, of country economics, and I, as a person that is interested in leadership of the nation, this person has maybe like Nelson and Mandela now, and then I'm now having to have written a book about the crazy way his life went. So this time around, when I'm reading, because I'm very, very interested in that subject, and I was like, the best way to be able to take your own personal success on a journey is by reading books of people, instead of waiting on them to come and sit down and mentor you. Reading books of people that have done this crazy stuff, like the one you want to achieve.
Yeah.
So, and that is why we have a little book publishing thing going on in GoLoko Diaries. But the main aim is to be able to get like anyone that has a dream, a ideal that they feel like that they're so passionate about, to get them hitting the ground and running with it, while leaning on relevant experiences from people that are trailblazers, that have done it ahead of them, like witnesses. You get? So that was what led me to bringing GoLoko Diaries together. And then we started the company January. That was the vision. That's still the vision. We started with book publishing. However, and that I don't necessarily like to introduce GoLoko Diaries as a book publishing firm, because it doesn't connote the general idea. That's why I like to say we're a media and publishing firm.
Okay.
So that is GoLoko Diaries.